All right, guys. Aiden Smith here. We have another episode of the Paint Your Path podcast, and we have a super special guest, one of my good buddies, and one of my business partners. Interesting, huh? Lucas Jensen with Forward Media Marketing. He is a beast in the marketing field and Facebook, Google ads. He does the whole nine, takes care of painters, and he gets them results. My man, Lucas, what's up, brother?
What up, Aiden? How we doing, brother? Nice to see
Doing
you, dude.
good. Nice and bald, shining for the camera.
Dude, you look crispy, bro. You look crispy. You know what, man? Like I envy you that you can rock it.
Yeah.
Like this is why I wear hats, dude. My head is not built for baldness, bro.
Nah, you got a good mane though right now.
I got a good mane, dude. I got a
Yeah.
good mane. Definitely blessed, dude. Definitely
Stud.
blessed.
Dude, so I appreciate you hopping on and doing this, we're trying to get quality guests, not just throw anybody on here, and I think you fall in that category for many reasons. We have a lot to get into, and we do have Joel coming on. He'll just be a little late. He's spending some time with some family, so shout out to him and his priorities. But yeah, man, until then, let's have some fun. So, Mr. Lucas, what we were just talking about. I wanted to start it because we were like kind
Dude,
of
we were
rambling.
talking about the setup. We're talking about sharing content. So we
Yeah.
kind of were just like yapping, and we're like, dude, like get it going, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we were just talking about like I guess just documenting,
Yeah.
just like everybody has something to share, and you're doing a disservice by not documenting it. Like even if you're just painting, you're just
Mm-hmm.
running a painting business, not doing anything else, like not trying to, build a personal brand for like future ventures or whatnot. Dude, there's so much you can document that you will be grateful. You can look back on a couple years in the past and look at that and kind of see the progress that you've made personally and professionally, but
Yeah.
also like just share value, right? Because like a competitor's not going to see that and take action on it if that's what you're worried about not sharing stuff. But like other people in other states or provinces, if you're like me and in Canada,
Mm-hmm.
um, will see that and be able to get value out of it. And you're doing a disservice to not just yourself, but the industry by not kind of sharing and documenting that whole journey.
Yeah. I've really rethought my thought process on like how important media is in general, right? And you use this as a strategy in your own business for all your clients. And it's like, people want to see human interaction. People want to see the guy. They want to see what you're about. They don't want to just do business with a brand. It's like, no, I want to have a connection, right? So the other day I actually just had a call with somebody. I've been doing a lot of like outbound outreach just to try and like connect with people, not even like really selling, just saying like, hey, what do you got going on? Let's connect. Let's see if I can help you in any way. And dude, this guy hopped on super high level from California, and he hired a media production company. And I was like, dude, your videos are crisp. Like, damn. Like, when did you start doing that? And he was like, fairly recently. And he said that people hire him just because of the quality of the videos. And I basically kind of pushed on that point, and I was like, dude, that's a good point, because when people see like quality media from somebody, right? Somebody that took the time to really make videos and kind of show quality stuff, it's like that means your work's probably quality. Your guys are probably all in. You probably have good systems, and like it sets the tone, right, for the rest of the customer experience, in my opinion. You
Dude,
know?
100%. Like how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? So
Yeah.
if like I in the contractor impact, did you listen to my webinar? Like when I presented
Mm,
for contractor impact back in end of July, like Tanner's
I don't
thing?
think I was able to listen in.
Dude, oh my God, bro. Okay, I'm hopping off the pot. No, I'm kidding.
Sorry, bro.
Well, I was talking about like obviously we run Facebook ads for painters, right? But there's like this this mindset around Facebook ads that it's just like, oh, Facebook ads brings tire kickers, right?
Right.
But it's like the result that you get is literally because of the output that you put in, like the
Mm-hmm.
inputs because of the output, and vice versa, right? So it's like you permit what you promote, right? So if you're permitting the use of good creatives, your Facebook's
That's
ads are
huge.
going to bring in good leads,
Yeah.
right? If you're using bad creatives, it's going to be bad leads, so on and so forth. But like how you do one thing is how you do everything. So
Mm-hmm.
like if someone sees an ad that's just crispy and it's just high quality stuff, like this
Mm-hmm.
podcast, they're going to be like, oh, dude, like Aiden's got a sick podcast. His actual paid stuff is going to be, very consistent with that whole process, right? But if you didn't have a good like a good marketing funnel or a good appointment setter or a good sales rep or whatever, then they're just going to anticipate that the rest of your product experiences or service experience is just going to be that like identical to that.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And dude, it goes as like we have somebody in the coaching that I've been hammering for since he's joined maybe 2 years ago, year and a half ago, and he has an Android. And it's like it's not one of those like super high end, like, with the crazy camera. It's like one of the lower end Androids. I'm like, bro, you are killing yourself posting these videos. And
It's like doing those like weird emojis that like only
dude,
Android has.
dude, it's like a yellow film, like, because honestly, Instagram and those platforms, they're like made for iPhones, like they cater. It just looks so much better when you have an iPhone. So when people, and shout out to iPhone people, but I'm sorry that I'm hating on, Androids right now, but like it's just night and day, the quality. And I'm a firm believer when you go the iPhone route or just like the best camera possible, you're going to get a way better ROI. You know what I mean?
I agree. And what I really like about it too is just like my iPhone is synced to my computer, which is synced to my iPad, which is just like everything is in one place. So like if I turn off my phone because my phone just goes bonkers during the day,
Yeah.
but like could still go on my laptop, so I could still like not lose track and lose productivity by just looking at my phone. Because when you check your phone, dude, it's so easy to get lost and start
Oh my
scrolling,
gosh, dude.
and then like 10 minutes later, you're like 1,000 shots of dopamine in by all the videos,
You
so
ever
it's
look
like,
up from your screen and you're just like, fuck, what just happened with
dude,
time?
it's so
It
brutal. But like
drains you.
being able to do that on your laptop, but still have access to the necessary
Yeah.
things like text messages, even FaceTimes if they come in, you know what I mean? Like you still have the capability of that, but you don't have to
Yeah.
use your phone as a distraction, or even Apple Watch. Like if you're on the tools or whatnot, and you get a text, like you don't have to, put your stuff down to answer your phone. Like you just rip it right on your Apple device, and they're all synced, which like personally I love.
It's a game changer.
It is a game changer. So, dude,
Yeah.
once you go iPhone, you're not going back. Like I tell you,
Exactly.
like Android, dude, like I respect it because their camera quality is good
Mm-hmm.
for the most part. Uh, but
Only
then
if
like
you're a
the minute,
photographer.
yeah, but the minute you upload it, I feel like it just loses all credibility.
Yeah. But we'll talk about like Facebook and stuff like that. Do you have any announcements? Are we there yet? Or
When's this pod gonna be posted? How quick's the turnaround?
2 days.
Dang, dude, 2 days. I don't know if I'm ready, but I mean, I'm
Okay.
gonna announce it.
Okay.
But in terms of like the actual pre-sales, those are coming next week.
Okay.
So today we are, what is it, Thursday? Thursday, August 22nd.
Yeah.
So November 22nd to November 23rd, we're hosting our very first in-person conference called PaintCon. It's powered by Ford Media Marketing, which, as you know, is my company. So we are going to have 84 attendees, 84 tickets total, just because the room capacity is 84. It's going to be split between general admin tickets, VIP tickets, and CEO tickets. CEO, you're going to get access to a private dinner. We're actually having a massive guest coming out. Like I can't say who
I
yet.
think I know.
I think you know too, dude. But you guys got similar styles.
Yeah, 100%. He's the OG. All right, that's all I'll
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got some big guests and big hitters coming. So as soon as that's fully firmed up, which is going to be this weekend,
Yeah.
the pre-sales for tickets are going to be next week, and that's just going to be hitting. So PaintCon, November 22nd to 23rd, right before Thanksgiving, right before we jump into the new year. If you're looking to get some motivation and direction for the
Sheesh.
new year, dude, that is the place to be. I feel bad for anybody who doesn't get their ticket because those
Mm-hmm.
puppies are going to sell up quick.
Yeah. No, I already sponsored the event because I'm like, I can't miss it. There's no way. There's going to be too many people that are like, one, super high level, but two, like, it's just going to be one of those things that you want your name in the pot, Like,
Dude, you need your name
yeah,
there,
you have
but
to.
like you also need to surround yourself with that kind of environment, right? Because like the reason I'm going to make this so different is because it's not going to be one of those events that you just get hyped up, because that's something that I've noticed is there's a lot of people listening to a lot of podcasts or a lot of going to a lot of events or investing in coaching programs, but they just lack the actual action
Mm,
taking. So like you could go to a million events, but if you don't take action, what's the point?
yeah.
So that's why I'm going to make this event different, and it's going to be more ingrained in actually taking action, and we're going to be holding your hand and kind of guiding you down that direction. It's a very unique approach, but
Wow.
basically it's going to be the hype motivation that everybody loves at events because you always leave fired up. But
Yep.
we're going to hold you accountable and make you take action on specific things that are going to propel your business. And that's why we're going to hit the new year running. So, dude, PaintCon is going to be a massive,
Dude.
massive impact in the
And
industry.
that's bold, right? To like say, hey, like we're going to make sure that you go back and you take what you learned and you implement that shit, you know? Because a lot of people decide not to work with me because of that reason. Because I'm on the call with them and I'm like, look, this isn't going to be easy. You're going to have action items when we hop off that call. And there's certain things that I'm going to require of you in order to get you success. But if that's what you really want and are really coming to me for, that's what has to happen. And if you're not ready, it might just not be the best time for you, right?
100%.
So I think that's bold, and I think it's gonna work out, right? I mean, you have your ducks in a row when it comes to stuff like that, you know.
Dude, but also with the guests that we're getting, like we're going to have, I think we're going to have 10 speakers and then
Mm-hmm.
multiple kind of panels and stuff. But it's going to be something this industry's never seen before. And I'm so fired up
Love it.
because, yeah, dude, the way it's just going to be broken down and structured, it's like I said, dude, I'm going to feel bad for the people that do not get their tickets because they're going to be missing out on a massive, massive impact for the business in 2025.
Yeah. So PaintCon San Diego, right?
San Diego, California, November 22nd to 23rd.
Love it. Love it.
Yes, sir. And
Cool,
Paint Pro
man.
Coaching is a sponsor too, dude. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Paint Pro Coaching. We're coming up, man. We're coming for it. You know, we have a lot to offer, and I believe what we're doing. You know, so that's what matters. We're trying to get the
Yeah.
name out. So,
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of go into your backstory a little bit, Mr. Lucas Jensen. Me and Joel made a pact, and we said anybody that comes on, we're gonna make sure that we kind of get into it. You know,
Dude, let's get into it, brother.
so you obviously have a super strong, successful, and valuable thing right now going on with forward media marketing, right? It's changed lives. There have been people that literally I've seen messages and seen in person, like Lucas has literally changed my life. Like going with you was the best decision I've ever made. I've seen it countless times. When we went to a dinner together and we had a bunch of people there, I had people get up and make a speech about your company and what you did for them. All right. So before we get into the meat and potatoes of that, tell me, Lucas, where you started, what your journey was like, and how all of it kind of unfolded.
Yeah, dude. I love that. So I started when it was COVID. So I'm from Canada, and in Canada during COVID we had like unemployment insurance, which was called the CERB, right? So it's like the Canada Emergency Relief Benefit or something like that, whatever.
Okay.
So it's basically unemployment insurance. And when COVID hit, I was in university. I was in my second semester of university, and I was studying marketing. Of course, we have like college. So it's Canada's a very weird structure, or Quebec more. So we have high school, and then we have college, which is like a pre-university for university. It's like a 2 or 3 year, depending on your program. And then instead of 4 years of university, you only have 3. So it's like Canada's unique, dude. But
That's
um,
interesting. So you studied marketing even before it happened. So that was something you were interested in.
yeah. And
Okay.
then so during COVID, everything switched online, right? So I'm not one just to sit there and just like twiddle my thumbs and just take online courses and stuff like that, just
Yeah.
like for school. You know what I mean? Like it's different when it's pertaining to your business, but when it's for school and you're just learning about like broad subjects, sometimes you're just like, dude, what am I studying this for? Kind of thing, you
Sure.
know? So everything switched online in March of 2020. And then I was just, collecting CERB, working this, working that, whatever. And then September, I launched my company, Ford Media Marketing. But 2 months prior to that, I actually got a course, like an online course
Mhm.
by my now director of sales, Sam Carini. He gave me access to a
Wow.
course, and I grew up with him. And then I remember he told me about it, but he went through it and stuff. And then I was like, oh, can I try it too? And I went through it as well, and took a different direction. But
Wow.
yeah, so he gave me that course in like I think late May or early June. I took action on it, and I just loved it, dude. Just
Yeah.
every aspect of it was just hitting for me. It taught me nothing about running a company, but
Hmm.
what it did do is give me the confidence to do so. It was one of those like cheaper courses that's just like a cookie cutter thing. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
for sure. So
So,
did you feel like you were an entrepreneur at heart, like already?
brother, dude, in grade 7, I would like buy, like Airhead candies.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd go to the States to buy Airhead candies with my family, and we'd come back, and then I would sell it in my middle school
Damn.
because we couldn't leave the premises, and I was flipping them out of my locker for like $1 each, dude. So I'd
Wow.
like clear a box of 60, make $60, buy it for like 8. You know what I mean? So
Dude, that's pretty
uh,
cool.
yeah, dude, I was hustling, and
I
then we
love
like
that.
graduated, and like my brother's childhood friend would make pens,
Yeah.
like physical pens, and like really cool, like Hawaiian tiki wood and stuff like that, like cool
Mm-hmm.
pens. And then we would like flip them for like $70 a pop, like
Damn.
hustling, dude, since day one.
Expensive
So,
pens.
dude, badass pens, bro, badass pens. I'll sell you one, dude. I still got connections.
The Hawaiian. Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah, dude, Hawaiian tiki wood, bro. You look like you need some Hawaiian tiki wood.
Yeah. Give me all
But
that.
yeah, dude, always kind of been in that like entrepreneurial mindset of just like how can I, you know, basically sell a product or service to make more money and more money and more
Yeah.
money, blah blah blah, right? But my true fulfillment came from providing value to
Mhm.
people
Yeah.
and bringing communities together, right? And that's why PaintCon obviously checks a lot of boxes for me because it's just going to be value and community.
Yeah.
But that's something that Ford Media is just like I pride ourselves on. It's like if I could break it down in 2 words, it's value and community.
Dude, well, think about, and I wanted to get into this too. Think about the team you put together right now, right? Sam, Ryan, like all these guys are not just like, oh, you hired a random sales rep, put out an ad. It was like, no, like you wanted to make sure you took care of your guys, right? They took kind of this leap of faith with you, and now they're seeing the kind of benefits of it. But like, that's at the core of what you're doing. Community, right? Our FMM chat that we're in, right? That's like a super dope community with people that are just there to help each other, right? So like
Exactly.
everything you've cultivated so far has been that basis, right? Even CCU, it's like I know that I want to do more as far as like more businesses, entrepreneur, more vehicles, more value. And it's like you did it with people that you genuinely liked. It wasn't just like, oh, I wanted another business. It was like, no, I think we all have something similar we can give and we all kind of gel in a certain way. Let's try something out, right? Based off of
100%.
our community. So,
100%. And it's just such a good transition with what we do at Ford Media. Like we can get into that, like
yeah.
like about why, it's just a beautiful transition and it just adds even more value to our current active clients and just
Mm-hmm.
the industry in general. But yeah, basically I'm a big advocate of just giving back, right? Like I said, the person who gave me the course back in the day is now my director of sales and helping
Yeah.
me grow even further, right? The person who helped me with entrepreneurship when I was younger, my brother, is now, sales rep for me, SDR for me. So it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, I love giving back. I love bringing the community and just like the people I value, bringing them together and then just helping the other people get value as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all our clients or employee, like everybody, dude. I just love the impact, truthfully, dude.
Dude, and that goes back to what we were talking about with marketing. The only reason I know those things is because you post it, because you have somebody kind of, making sure it's documented because it means something to you. And you're like, no, I need to get this story out there, right? That builds your lore, that builds you, your brand, and what you're about, right? And that like adds credibility, right? It adds long term trust, which if you didn't document that stuff, like I said it on the last pod, like there's people that come up to me and say, oh, I've done all these projects. I've worked for Aaron Rodgers on his house and stuff. And I'm like, can you show me? And they're like, well, we were there. We have some pictures, but like, there's nothing documented. Like if I'm working on a celebrity's house or something like that, you better hope social media goes down or you're going to see me all on your feed. You know what I mean?
100%, dude.
It's
Or it's
so
like,
important.
like they tell us about all these big projects and like, yeah, maybe I got a before here or there, or like maybe
Yeah.
I got an after, but it's like, but dude, what about the whole process?
It's
Like, this is such
crazy.
a sick opportunity. Why is that not being documented?
Yeah.
Like even, dude, every aspect of your business is just a massive opportunity for you to document. Like where
Yeah.
you are now is not where you're going to be a year from now, but wouldn't it be cool to be able to look back and be like, man, that was my mindset. Like I haven't told anyone this, but every year on my birthday for last about 6 years since 2018, like on my birthday, I film a 5 to 10 minute video just discussing like where I am, like where I'm living, what
Oh,
I'm doing, like
really?
if I'm in school, if I'm working, if I'm dating someone, financials, things like that, right? Like, and I document it and I don't watch it until the next year.
Wow.
And I redo it every single year of the business. So it's
That's
like,
powerful.
dude, it's so cool because even then, like I talk about, like if I'm in business,
Mm-hmm.
I talk about the stressors. Like last year, I talked about the stressors of like, this is kind of worrying me, this is stressing me out, whatever. And I look back now and I'm just like, dude, oh my God, that was not a big deal.
It's crazy. Wow. Dude, I might
So,
start doing that.
dude, and it's so easy to remember. Like, and
Yeah,
it's like a private victory. You know what I mean? I'm big in private
100%.
victories. Just like be able to look like last year, talk about your revenue, talk about where you're at, and then you kind of forget about it. And then like it hits your birthday and you remember like, oh, I got to do that again. And then
Yeah.
you look back at it, you're like, wow, that's so cool, dude.
Yeah, and it's crazy because that correlates with like how disciplined you are too, right? And like the people that I've found in life that are the most disciplined, most successful, they do those kind of things, right? Like one of the most disciplined people I know, super like religious and just in tune with his family, like that's all that matters to him. I think it's every single day, he does 1 second, 1 second a day video, and he posts it in an app. And at the end of the year, he has 365 seconds of his whole year, and it's a single second of every single day. It's crazy. It's like a nice 6 or 7 minute video. And like you look at that and you're like, dude, to be able to have the time, think about that, document it, and do it every single day. I mean, what other areas are in your life are you treating like that? You know what I mean?
Exactly. How you
It's
do one thing is
huge.
how you do everything.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, dude. I love that. I highly recommend everyone that's listening to do this. But dude, document on your birthday and talk about where you are. And then next year, you're going to like blow your mind with like how much progress and direction you've made, hopefully. Right.
Yeah.
But you just blow your mind of just like, you know, your relationship status, your financial status, your physical stat, like everything, dude. Just like spend 5-10 minutes with just yourself listening to the old video and filming the new one, and you're gonna blow your mind, dude. I get so emotional every time I do it. It's such a beautiful thing, but it's just like a time capsule that I
Yeah.
love.
It's like it's almost like a subliminal goal, because you know it's coming, you know you got to do it, and you're like, damn, how could I level up and have that best 5-10 minutes as possible, and make the most like difference, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Because, dude,
cool.
like I was watching a video. I forget
Hmm.
who it was, but they were saying like the worst or the worst sentence someone can say to themselves is "I wish I would have." You know what I mean? Like I wish I would have done this to get there, or I wish I would have asked that girl out, or I wish I would have started that business. Because that's just like a formatting of regret. Of just
Hmm.
saying I wish I would have done that. But dude, it's just like being able to say like this year I'm going to be there, and then once you look back at it and you just check that box, it's such a cool thing.
Insane,
Yeah,
insane, dude. So, you started the company, right? Now you hired your sales director, right? And you're getting these people in the door. How do you set them up to carry out your culture, right? To carry out your values and set them up. I think a lot of painting business owners struggle with this. Is like, look, I bring this person in and I just say, hey, this is your role. Make sure you do it good. It's like there's no, hey, this is what you're actually coming into. This is how we like to do things. This is the standard. Talk to me about how you kind of go about those kind of topics in your own company.
yeah, yeah, dude. We have 5 core values that we list and we make our whole team go through. And those things are just kind of respected. You know, it's small things like keep it simple, stupid, things like that. You know, have an owner's mentality, try, ask, document, execute, small things like that, right? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
just little things that are just ingrained. That's just like your core values that, you know, kind of surround the culture. But I think we have a really cool culture, dude. But I think that's just indicative of who you are. Like
Yeah.
if you're a stressed out guy or girl, or like you're unorganized, like that's the type of culture that you're going to breed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, that's the type of friends that you're going to attract,
Yeah.
right? People that kind of resonate well with that, right? And it kind of might deter, if you have the wrong culture, you might deter the wrong person away, which if you have a good culture, it's a good thing because you want a high culture. But if you have a bad culture and you bring someone in that comes from a standpoint of good culture,
Yeah.
it's like that could push them away, right?
Mm.
So, dude, for painting, I feel like there's so much more you can do because my business is fully online. So like team building and
Yeah.
all that stuff is like
Constant
that much harder.
communication.
It's that much harder because like you're not going to bond with someone as much over a Zoom call as in person. Like for
100%.
for us, for example, dude, like
Mm-hmm.
we've met multiple times on Zoom and stuff. But then once we kind of locked it down and hung out in Florida and everything together, it's just like
Different.
so much better, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would say painters, obviously, if you're not running it remotely, like Joel is, but
Mm-hmm.
if you're kind of with your team and you see them pretty frequently, there's so much things you can do.
Yeah.
Um, a friend of mine who used to work I think they were doing like 30 million a year. It was a big franchise, but what they would do is like payroll parties. So every time there
Okay.
was payroll, they just do like a little event, whether it's like bowling or just lunch or things like that, just to
Payroll
like
like every Friday, every other Friday?
every other Friday.
Oh, snap. That's
Yeah,
pretty
dude.
cool.
But it is cool. It is
Yeah.
definitely really cool. You know, it depends if obviously if you have the subcontractor route or the employee route,
Right.
but just small little team building things that like correlate with like certain schedules, so it
Mhm.
doesn't like fall off and you don't forget about it, but just
Yeah.
like
It's
organize that.
consistency, you know?
Exactly,
It's
organize that and have like a milestone that once that's hit, then you do this. If
yeah.
this, then that kind of thing.
No, it makes sense. And like sometimes I talk to people and I say, hey, you got to come up with your own culture, right? What matters to you, right? As far as mission statement, core values, like the whole nine, just like you were saying. Some people even struggle with that, right? Like just getting down those like values of what matters to them. Like, do you feel like it was just natural for you? Or did you have to kind of sit down and say, look, this is what I really care about? And I had to kind of dissect it and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really indicative of like where you are in your company. You know what I mean? If you're a Fortune 500 company with thousands of employees, one wrong hire is not going to offset that culture,
Right.
right? But if you're a smaller company that has, I don't know, 3, 5, 10, we have 18 right now on our team. One hire, it's small enough where like one hire could kind of bleed into the culture,
Yeah.
and like one underperformer could kind of set like different triggers, and then people are like, oh, if we're being the same and he's doing that, then I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like it could lead to a drop in culture or performance if you bring in the wrong hire.
Yeah.
So there's like a saying that's like hire slow, fire fast.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So when you're hiring someone, make sure you bring in the right people. Don't hire out of, urgency, because then you're going to make the wrong hire. But then if someone's really underperforming, dude, cut them off at the knees, take them
Yeah.
out, fire them quickly, because you don't want that, if you built up a good culture, you don't want that affecting the overall culture of your company just because you want to keep someone around just to increase productivity, right?
Yeah.
So
And that's interesting. Also, you brought that up. Having a team of 18 people is no small feat to kind of deal with from a day to day perspective. And I think some of the guys that might be listening might have teams of three, four, five, maybe a little bigger, right? But like, how do you go about, because some of these painters, let's just keep it real, they're not cut out for every culture, right? They're toxic, they're dealing with stuff in life, right? How do you deal with those? And you may have not have dealt with somebody like this. I'm not 100% sure, but how do you deal with somebody that is starting to get to that point where like this might not be a good fit? It's affecting my business. Do you give them strikes? Do you give them warnings written? Like, what's your kind of process for that?
ooh, that's a good question. We've rolled out recently something called incident reports.
Mm,
Now there isn't like a set stone of like three incident reports you're out. We have like minor incident reports. Like let's say we plug something into, for example, we plug something like a Facebook lead into Zapier to trigger into DripJobs, and that's not set up correctly, and a client goes one day without getting a lead. That would be a minor thing.
gotcha.
Whereas like a major thing would be like running ads in a different area for a different client, which hasn't
Hmm.
happened, thankfully, but just using it as an example, as like that's like something that's major that could really mess up someone's kind of flow of things.
But you're saying identify what could go wrong and
I
how important that is too.
exactly.
All right, we're back. We had a little bit of a slip up when Joel trying to join, but he will join back. So we were talking about like incident reports, how to deal with people that may be leaching in to your culture and affecting it, maybe bringing down some people or whatever the case may be. So are you of the, hey, even though you messed up, I'm going to give you another chance?
Oh, 100%, dude.
And it's all
100%.
dependent on the kind of severity of it?
Yeah, of course. And like I always take extreme ownership of it. Of like if someone messed up, I'm gonna call a spade,
Hmm.
but I'm gonna take full accountability for that because that's a reflection of my systems, right? And then once you have good systems, that's when you're really able to like say, is this a systems issue or is this a people issue?
Yeah.
Right? Because if you don't have the right systems in place, you're not sure if it's the wrong person or the wrong system, right?
Mm.
So obviously we're still building and nailing the systems and everything. It's just a continuous thing, right? As you grow, there's new systems to build and so on and so forth. But I always like I will never fire someone just like that right away,
Right.
depending on how complex it is. It's yet to happen, knock on wood. But let's say an employee was trying to poach some clients, right? Which is
Gotcha.
something that could be relevant in the painting industry. Of
Hmm.
you hire subs, and then they start trying to
They
poach
go
the client.
knock on your door behind your back and say, "Hey, I can do it for cheaper," or
Exactly.
don't go that with the company I'm working for. Just I'll do it on the side, that kind of thing. Yeah,
I'll
you're
do
you're
it for
pretty much out of there
I'll do
when
it for
that
this
happens.
amount. And then you lost the lead, you lost the client, but you don't want that type of culture. So that has yet to happen in my company.
Yeah.
God forbid it does, right? I'm sure this is a little bit more frequent in the painting side if you hire subcontractors. But
Mm-hmm.
um, if that situation were to happen, that'd be immediate firing.
Yeah. And
Immediate.
then the thing is, I think people need to understand is like sometimes you need to go through a guy like that, right? You need a guy to kind of rock you and get you on your toes and say, you know what? I'm not going to let that happen again. I know now I can tighten up my hiring process. I can implement a couple systems now that'll have my back, right? But that comes with time. That comes with leveling up and kind of just evolving in the business. But before you got there, take it back to kind of how things started. What was it like back then when you really only had one, maybe two people
Yeah,
around?
dude.
You know?
So yeah, when I launched Forward Media back in September 2020, um, it was actually not Forward Media Marketing; it was Forward Fitness Marketing.
No
Um,
way.
yeah, because dude, COVID hit hard in Canada, and all the gyms closed in like September or October. It's like the gyms were beginning to reopen, and I used to
Sheesh.
love training, dude. Loved it. I,
Mm-hmm.
I still enjoy it, not as much as I did, but I kind of just do it out of discipline now. But then it was like, dude, I was just like a gym bro, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to like try and turn my passion into a profit and kind of focus on marketing for gyms, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Forward Fitness Marketing, FFM.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude. And then they opened up, and then I think 2 weeks after we had like a full lockdown where like all gyms closed,
Mm-hmm.
like everything. So I'm like, dude, there goes all my prospects, right? So
You were almost baby Hormozy.
yeah, dude, man, gym launch, baby.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
So that was really like a passion for you, fitness and
loved it,
that
dude.
kind of stuff. Yeah.
Loved it, man. I
Nice.
would like train twice a day. I was gearing up to compete for like
Shut
it was like a
up.
physique competition, dude. Yeah. So it's like not like the ones in the speedo, but like the bathing suit ones. I was
Yeah.
gearing up back then, dude. I was like a little beast, bro, back in
Iron
2020.
Man Lucas. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. So
Wouldn't have
yeah,
known.
dude. Everything kind of went out of business for gyms. Everything got
Mm-hmm.
locked down, so they couldn't open the gym, so they couldn't take on more clients, which means there's no point in marketing for it.
Yeah.
So then one of my friends was like, hey, why don't you just go broad? Just like not just target gyms, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't niche down, but just go general. And I was like, okay, cool, let's try it, right? And then I created a post, just like an organic post. My friend that told me to go broad, she shared it.
Mm-hmm.
Then this one guy on her friends list saw the post. His name was Olivier,
Mm-hmm.
and he was my very, very first client, and he was a painting business. So he was part of
Wow.
a franchise called StudentWorks, which is basically a student that runs a painting business that has all the systems and stuff. It's big in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we had discussions early January 20th, 2021. We signed him, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing, dude. Ollie, if you're listening, I'm sorry, bro, but I didn't know what the heck I was doing, dude.
I was like, maybe you're not working with him anymore.
No, no. So he's a student. So they basically,
Okay.
yeah, I'll transition into like how we switched to like painting contractors, but basically like a seasonality thing.
Mm-hmm.
So dude, yeah, January 2021, drove over to his house, and signed him. Like he was like 20 minutes from my parents' house, and I just drove over there like 8 p.m. at night with a contract and a piece of paper, and I was just like, dude, like let's
Yep.
get it
Let's
going,
get
right?
it. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
and it was like back then, dude, it was like 600 or like $600 a month Canadian,
Mm-hmm.
so like 400 USD. And we were doing everything, dude, like website development. Not it wasn't
Wow.
good by any
Mm-hmm.
means, but we're trying to do everything, right? It's just
Yeah.
like anything someone's willing to like ask for, like I'm like, all right, we'll do it.
But you
So
start it.
it
Yeah.
started, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It started. And then so we do like website development, SEO, email marketing, paid media, obviously like Facebook ads, Facebook posting, like everything, dude,
Yeah.
right? And then he referred us to our second painting client, who was like a business partner of his, who was operating a StudentWorks company, and
Mm-hmm.
we signed them 2 weeks later. So January we had two clients, both painting businesses, and then Facebook was way different back there, dude. Like way different.
Yeah.
Um, but we launched ads, or I launched ads. It was a one-man team. I launched ads for them, and within the first 4 months, off of $2,500 in Facebook ads, we brought them $200,000 in sales.
No way.
Yeah. With like not many systems. And then that's when I was just like,
Wow.
yeah, dude, I was like, wow, this is a massive opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because that franchise was relying heavily on door to door. They never really did paid advertising. So the VP was like, dude, this is great what you did. Can
Mm-hmm.
you do this at scale for like other operators? I'm like, 100%, right?
Mm-hmm.
So their seasonality, so they would run from like in production, they would go from like March, April, like
Mm-hmm.
April usually actually more to like August. So there was like a good like 4 months of production. And then they'd do like pre-sales in January and stuff, like door to door,
Right.
kind of book it up and then begin producing when they were finished school with their semester in April, right? So that came to an end in August because they returned back to school. Everything shuts down, and then I had talks with the VP, showed them the case studies, all that stuff,
Yeah.
and then he brought us on like a coaching call with like all the operators. So I think there was like 80 operators at the time that were on there, and we signed 30 of them in January of 2022. Yeah, dude, I went ham, bro. I was like, dude, this is an awesome
Oh
opportunity, and
my goodness,
yeah,
dude.
dude, spitting game, and then yeah, 30 operators in January 2022, smacked it out of the park. We had like 3 million in sales for them over the course of like 4 or 5 months. So smashed it. But then the only thing with that, I was like, this is a really, really big opportunity, but you can't run a business that runs 4 or 5 months of the year.
No, exactly. Yeah.
So September 2022 is when we branched out to painting contractors in general.
Yeah.
And I was just focusing on Canada, and then I expanded to America,
Mm-hmm.
The US, you know.
States.
Yeah, the States. And dude, rest is history, man. I
That's
mean,
crazy.
now we're at like 130 or 140 active clients, team of 18.
Guys, this
Um,
is the first time I'm hearing this, you know?
yeah, dude. Yeah, I don't share it often, man. I gotta share it more, but
That was a dope journey, man. You should make a little like mini series of just that, kind of documenting all that because it just shows you, look, you start, you don't got to figure it out. Don't got to get it perfect. You start, you get some results, try your best, and you get a chance. And now you get people talking and you're off to the races.
exactly. Take
And
action, refine. Take action, refine. Take action, refine. And then
hell yeah.
now, we just do Facebook ads and Google ads. Dude, we don't do any web development. We don't do SEO, email
Yeah,
marketing, social media management, and we charge more for it because like we're good as shit at that,
exactly.
right? Like I was were you at our coaching call yesterday with Tom Reber?
No.
So he was talking like he was just asking like questions that kind of just like hit, and it's just things that's just like you put into context, right?
Yeah.
Of just like if a restaurant's known for their cheeseburger, they better make sure as shit that the cheeseburger is good,
Dude.
right? So it's like even if like you have a lineup of clients coming, it's like you can always improve,
Yeah.
and don't sacrifice quality just for profit, but just like keep pushing and pushing and pushing, delivering value, and make sure that people enjoy your cheeseburger, bro.
Dude, how many times have you went to like a local spot, right? Not even a chain, just a local spot, and you're like, local spot, little like dive restaurant. I'm gonna come in here see what they got to offer, and then it is just absolute shit. And you're like, how are you open? What are you doing with your life? This isn't even worth it. Close the business down. That's how I get.
Yeah,
I'm like, if you're small and you don't have immaculate customer service, a great, as best as you can put forward product, dude, what are you doing? You know, like you need to be going above and beyond, especially early on if you're trying to grow. Like you just said, right? We were doing everything. That's like what you had to do initially to try and prove your worth and make sure that you didn't have it all figured out, but you were at least giving as much effort as you could. And that was me early on because I worked with a lot of smaller contractors initially, and I was building their websites on Wix. I was doing like so much more, making them pamphlets, like you name it. I did it, but it was because I wanted to earn their business. I wanted to make sure that they got the value. I still have that mindset, but it's like now it's a lot different, right? We're
100%.
delegating, we're focusing on what we do best and stuff like that.
Yeah, because you don't know where it is exactly that you provide value, so you're just trying to provide value in everything that you can offer.
Yeah,
And then that's where I dissected of just like, okay, like websites are cool. People can definitely get clients. There's a lot of demand there, but I'm not good at building websites. What
exactly.
I'm good at is Facebook ads, and that's just essentially where the return on investment was coming from,
Yeah.
right? So then that's just when we scaled it, and we just kept doing Facebook ads. We got really freaking good at
Yeah.
Facebook ads for painters, and then eventually branch out and you start going, a little bit horizontally, and then we offered Google Ads.
The best companies focus on what they're good at. I mean, that's just is what it is, right? If you focus in on exactly what you're good at and what's your niche, it's like you're gonna kill it.
Exactly.
Um,
And then the better you are at that and the more narrow and niche you are in that specific service, the harder it is for someone to come in and try and compete. Like, dude,
exactly.
Tommy Mello, they just do garage door installations and like repairs and stuff like that, but they're doing 240 million a year
Incredible.
just by doing that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a super narrow service, but they got really freaking good at it
Mm-hmm.
and they rolled it out worldwide, and now look where they're at. You know what I mean? Like it's insane the amount of opportunity there is today.
Yeah. Yo, yo, yo.
What's
What
up,
up,
guys?
Joel?
Hey,
There he
sorry,
is.
man.
It's all good,
Here's the
bro.
nice part about pods. You can do what you need to do and then get in, get out, do what you want, right? But I wanted to say thank you. So sorry about your time. You know, I really respect your guys' time, but I'm traveling right now. So if you guys see weird backgrounds and stuff like that, this just goes to show you the life of an entrepreneur. You do what you have to do, hop in, hop out, do what you got to do. So how you guys doing? Everybody good?
Going
Yeah,
good,
dude. Very
bro.
good, brother. That just means we got to do another podcast, all three of us again.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So
How's
Got it.
Philly, brother?
it's awesome, man. I haven't been back in 8 years. You know, you guys know I talk about mental coaching and stuff like that. It's resonating a lot of things from the past, but it's awesome because I need to face them and thrive from them. So it's been really good. You know, the energy's been great. I'm super excited. And I figured I'd hop on this last half of the pod to throw whatever you guys want to throw in there and get excited about it.
Yeah, bro. What's kind of the objective going down there? Just chilling with family?
Yeah, so you know, I have a pest control business out here, but
Yeah.
one of my biggest things I always say to people is that family's built, it's not given.
Mm.
And coming from where I come from, my best friends I've known for 39 years of my life. And people still to this day do not believe that. And it's his 40th birthday this Friday. And as much as I try not to go back home, I have to be here for my blood, right? My friends, my family, that what we built, that's important. So I have to put my emotions and feelings aside of being back home and show up when you say you show up, right? So that's what we're doing
Amen.
this Friday night.
Yeah, dude. We went, into Lucas's journey with FMM, dude. He talked all about how my man started from basically zero, one account, blew it up, nothing was handed. And then kind of went into culture, kind of building that team and really like, how do you deal with some of the toxic people that can come into your organization and
Mm,
what's the protocol, kind of how do you go about treating them based on your core values and stuff like that. So I thought that'd be a great topic for you, Joel, because obviously you with multiple businesses, it's like you always are somebody that sets the standard and we'll nip it in the
yeah,
butt and we'll say, hey, when you're coming in here, you're not just working for me, we're going on a journey together, right?
100%.
Talk to us about like what that looks like in your companies as far as culture and how you go about that.
Yeah, man. So a lot of people don't understand this. My mentor and I kind of like, and it's not in a bad way. We just have different visions, and that's why I was big about buying him out as soon as possible because I truly believe when someone doesn't align in your organization, it will crumble it. So you want to get those people as soon as possible out of the organization. Not nothing against him. I'm just saying in general, if they're not aligned with your vision, you have to move forward, right? And until I identified that, I was struggling
Mm-hmm.
because I kept saying, "Is it me? Am I doing something wrong? What's going on?" And when I identified there's a misalignment, I made fast reaction, fast decisions, and got on it ASAP. So you know, I believe in people, I believe in culture, and you know, the biggest thing is if you stay away from that, you know, we always talk about being principle centered, right, guys?
Yeah.
When you go past your principles, you will make mistakes. You will make bad decisions. But when you follow your principles, you'll always make the right decision because it's what you feel, it's what you live by,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you know, I love the fact that you asked that question because it's a big deal for me. And ever since I started doing that, my life has just been blessing after blessing after blessing
Yeah.
because you know, I truly believe it says, biblically speaking, not to get all godly, but biblically speaking, it says, you if you deny your blessing, so if you say, I will not accept this, how is he going to bless you tenfold?
Mm.
Right? And I was one of those people that was just like, a yes, man, and I'll just do whatever I have to do to please these people and do this and do that. And no, I'm not deserving of it. I know I don't want it. So I felt like, man, I can't move forward in my organizations if I'm not accepting people's blessings,
Wow.
right? So, that's a big deal. And I think that's part of culture too, right? Because when you instill into your people will also instill back to you.
Yeah.
That's important to recognize. And if they're not, right, they're also taking your gifts away from you. That's important to understand, right? So you got to be careful, guys. And that's why I love the whole culture speech, right?
Yeah.
Because man, the moment someone starts sliding away from the vision, it's a slippity slide, right? It
Mm-hmm.
starts to
Yeah.
ruin everybody else.
Yeah.
100%. And I think, Joel, like you stand behind that big time because the people like you're partnered up with, like, the pest control business or, even Joey in Phoenix, right? Like these are all people that used to be in your company and have developed into becoming the business owner that you kind of built and helped them
Yes.
build. And then they kind of just ventured off and you're there to support them, like Brandon, right? Like he's going to be your next leader as well, right? Like Melissa too. Like these are all
Yeah.
people that went through your company, adapted to your culture, understood your culture, and thrived in your culture. And then you took them away and they built their own business with you as support as well.
Yeah.
100%. And a lot of people don't understand. Some of these people, I worked with them as an employee, as a
Mm-hmm.
coworker. So, Joey's one example. When I lived in Phoenix, I worked at a car dealership with him. And as we were at the car dealership together, um, I just recognized leadership skills. I recognized hustle. I recognized he had integrity. I was like, hey, I can work with you. I want to be with people like you. And I didn't own the dealership, but I knew that I'm a people person, right? I always look for the right people, right? So it's like I'm always shopping for people, right?
Yeah.
And when you do that and you develop them, guess what? They follow the leader. That's just a natural law, right? So when the opportunity came up to open a painting company again, it was like, hey, he's like talking about wanting to open up a Jimmy John's franchise. I was like, don't do that. I know painting. Let's do painting together. Let's set you up for success. Well, guess
Mm-hmm.
what? He didn't have to think about it. He's like, I've already seen what Joel's done in somebody else's company. I want to follow that
Mm-hmm.
and the risks and the things I've taken to be where I'm at today. So that's very important. Absolutely.
It's
Love
huge.
that, dude. And
And
Joey's a crusher.
Yeah, he is, man. Aiden, you'll meet him sometime, bro.
yeah, for sure. I'd love
Yeah.
to. And it's so interesting too because some owners, whether it be painting companies or just entrepreneurs, whatever, they see the people under them as kind of inferior, right? It's like, no, you have your role, you go, you paint. I'll run the company. You know what I mean? When I see your guys' organization, it's like, no, these guys are happy to be in the organization and they appreciate the relationship you guys have with them. It's not like they work for you. It's like they're working with you and you guys are going to battle
Yes.
together. Right. So whoever wants to kind of chime in and talk about that, I noticed it with both of you guys and you can tell that these guys, like their life is based around the company and kind of the relationship they have with you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's also like how you actually approach it too, right? Like I will never say they work for my company or they work for me, right? Even though that's technically so, I would never throw that because that also kind of just like sets a limiting mindset in their mind too, right? So I say like, oh, it's one of my colleagues or
Yeah.
they work with me. You know what I mean? It's never they work for me,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because then, like I said, then they're like, oh yeah, it's true. He is my boss. I am just gonna clock in, clock out. But if you say it's my colleague or whatever, like I'll always introduce Sam as my right hand man or my colleague Sam or even my
Yeah.
brother. I'm not gonna say it's like my brother. I'm gonna say my colleague Ryan. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of if you say it's my employee, there is that like statement of inferiority that comes into it, right? And then they might give less to your business as they could if you just really like pump them up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's I love what you said right there, Lucas. I say the same thing. It's a partnership, right? So I even talk to my clients. I say, hey, this is a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
So even my customers, I go, hey, when we go together, it's a partnership. And I always tell the painters as well, just so, obviously we do a lot of painting, right? I say the same thing to our foremans. This is your business within our business. And when they start to look at it that way, they treat it as such, right? And I always tell people this, and I love that we are in alignment. Gosh, I wish I was on here earlier. Sorry, guys. We are going to do another podcast, guys, just so you know. We're going to be fully here together.
For
But
sure.
the nice thing about this is when they start to think that way, right? I say, you take care of your people take care of your customers. I have a different mindset with that. People are like, oh, I always take care of my customers. I have the different thought process. I go, I take care of my guys Because if I take care of them, they see the level of how much I care about them.
Yeah.
They in return will care that much or more to the customer.
Yeah, and I think too, also, they understand that the path that we're setting them up and the company up on, there's more than just their role, right? Just a matter of time. If you can go along this journey, put in the hustle, put in the work, and really commit and buckle down, not only will you get better in the process, but now you open opportunities that were never there, right? Whether it's with me or another company, right? Like Joel, you are promoting one of your sales reps, right? He's going to be pretty much the sales manager.
Yeah, actually, so the one of my painters became an estimator now. So that was Richard that
Beautiful.
you met, and he was with us for about 2-3 years. And we saw an opportunity in him, and we're like, hey, how would you like to do sales? And he's crushing it because he
Sheesh.
knows our process inside and out. All we have to do is teach him the estimating side, right? So that was an
Yeah.
easy decision for us because he fits the culture, he knows the culture. And then I'm gonna announce it right now for you guys, but my boy Michael, who's been watching us coaching and doing stuff from Paint Life, he's now going on board with us. So this was a
No
solopreneur.
way.
Yeah, he was working in our area, and we just signed it up on Friday. He's coming in. He's going to be a leader in our company.
Oh
I,
my
I talked to him
gosh.
about the vision. I was like, listen, I want you to be next to me. Like, I want
Yeah.
you to be with me. Like, why do this on your own when we can do this together? So yeah, I'm super excited, guys, and there's so many things happening. So
Hmm.
it's all about the people.
And that's Paint Life 1904, right?
Yes, sir,
Or
Michael.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Dude,
Dude,
that
he
is
is such a
amazing.
cool guy, man. I like
Dude,
dude, every time he comes on like a coaching call, just any call, like you see he's just like
he's
dialed in.
dialed, bro.
Dude, he's dialed and he's taking
Notes.
notes and he's taking
Yep.
action.
That's what you
Dude,
Dude,
want.
that's a
that's what you
blessing,
need,
dude.
dude.
That is a
Yeah.
That's what you
blessing.
need, bro. And like you see, like even like what you're saying about Richard, right? Like some companies might just see him as production,
Yep.
right? They might see him as, oh, it's just a painter, but you invested in your people and you have transitioned that 2 or 3 years later into a leadership role who's just going to bring even more abundance into your company, more
Yeah.
than just production or what he would have done just painting a house, right? Like, dude, there's so much opportunity. And like, regardless of where someone is within your company, if you treat them well and you invest in them, they're going to pay you back in dividends down the line.
Yeah. And Lucas, you did the same thing
Yeah.
with your team too, right? They started from the ground up and they evolved into leaders now, you know? And who knows what's next, right? So it's like it's just exciting, man. And
Dude,
it's like it starts at the top, you know?
I was literally like every Wednesday I have like coaching calls, like one-on-one coaching calls. I got that from Joel with
Nice.
all our leaders. And I was talking to one of them, John, and he was just asking like, dude, like what's the vision with the company? You know, like
Ooh.
where do you see this going? Right. And I'm just like, dude, I have never grown a company before. I have a vision. I'll happily share it, but I have no ceiling, right? And that means that you don't have a ceiling either. I don't know how
Yes.
big this business it can go because I've never built it before, but I'm gonna fucking sorry, pardon my language.
You're
I'm just
good.
No,
getting
say it,
fired up,
baby.
dude. But I am gonna make damn sure
They
that
appreciate it.
yeah, I'm gonna make damn sure that there is no ceiling,
Yeah.
and that when I grow, you grow. As long as you invest in me and I invest in you, like, dude, there is no ceiling for you in terms of growth opportunities, salary, everything, right? So it's like there is no limit to how big you can go, dude. Like that's the beautiful thing about business. It's like the limits that you have are the limitations you put in your mind. You know what I mean? As soon
Amen.
as you remove those and realize that there's so much opportunity out there, and like as soon as you start connecting with people doing like 10 times, 100 times more than you, you're like, oh my God, like there's
Hmm.
so much room here.
And a lot of
Yeah,
times
guys.
with smaller to work with, right? And that's like with painters, it's like they dominate a smaller market and they're doing triple the revenue of you. And you're like, damn, I didn't even know there's all this opportunity out there. But they got serious about their business. They went all in. And it's like now they're seeing, hey, this is what happens when you do that, you know?
Yeah. And dude, that does not come overnight. But man,
Right.
like once you see the growth opportunity, it's like it comes just shots of dopamine that you're just like chasing the next one and the next one and the next one. You know, like I was on FaceTime, Joel and I were on FaceTime with Andy Elliott the other day. And before that, I got like a facility tour and I was seeing their office, dude. And they had about like 30 glass box offices with just different reps in each one. And
Wow.
everyone was in there just dialing it in, making deals, making deals,
Hmm.
making deals. And you're just like, dude, if this guy is doing it, like I can do that too. You know what I mean? And
100%.
that got me so fired up on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Like I was insanely
He
jumping,
said on
dude.
a
It
Yeah.
was
Tuesday.
crazy.
Yo, let me tell you something real quick though. I went to his event, to Patrick Bet David event. Guys, I'm telling you, it changed my life. And I thought I already
Wow.
had my life changed. It changed it again, right?
Hmm.
And this was pretty recent. When I showed up, every single person they had on staff hugged me, grabbed my hand, fist bumped me.
Hmm.
Like, I was like, holy crap, this guy has leaders upon leaders upon, like, leaders upon leaders. I cannot over exaggerate the experience I had there. And I was like, I need this in my life. And guys, remember, when you are the leader of your organization, you seem to feel a little lonely, right? Because you're making the decisions. You have things that come across your desk that you go, oh my gosh, who do I share this with? What are the
Hmm.
things do I do? How do I get this handled? What are some other things I need to do? And you get in your head. But when you have an army, and that's why he calls it the Elliott Army, right? When you have an army of the same mindset people, watch what you're going to do, right? And man, I'm telling you, this is a big deal. This changed me even
Hmm.
in how I already do my organizations. Today, Richard was on the first time he went on our call today, this morning. And my energy of our call, because obviously I'm out of state right now, but the energy on my call, my staff was texting me, oh my God, today was great. The coaching was amazing. The energy's great. I was like, oh, wow. That's from my leadership team, right? I'm like, we haven't even added Michael in yet because he starts in September. That got me so pumped up that I was like,
Mm.
I'm so happy I went to that event because it shifted something in my mind. I'm like, dude, not only does my team need this, I need it. I need that extra push, that energy, because all day we're constantly instilling in our people. Who's instilling in me,
Hmm.
right? And then the new revived energy from my team got me even more excited. I was like, great, this is awesome. And then I've been pretty much like super pumped up all day, right? On a Thursday.
Dude,
And dude,
that's
like
dope.
it's man, there's just so much friggin' opportunity. And like you said, dude, it's like, and that comes down to culture because Andy's built a sick culture that are all like him, just like
100%.
boom, 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 always
Yep.
going, you know, just like jacked up on testosterone, just ready to roll, ready to take over. You know what I mean? And like, dude, having that type of support, it's like insane, man. So like, I'm sure that inspired you and got you fired up, Joel. Like, you're
Yeah.
already fired up just in general. So I'm
Yep.
sure that was just like insane for you, dude.
It amplified, man. And it made me restructure, right? Because, like, right before, I don't know how much time you got, Lucas and Aiden. I'm sorry. I'm kind of just
I'm good.
taking over. Lucas, how much time you got, baby?
Another 10, 13 minutes.
Awesome. I'll make it quick, right, guys? So what happened got revitalized, right? And I'll start backwards a little bit real fast. When I first met Lucas, right, I always tell everybody I've been underneath a rock, right? As I've been underneath this rock, I've been focused on this one business and then developing people in my other businesses, not realizing that how much other things we have and opportunities that I can be doing, right? And when I met with Lucas the first time, he kind of opened me up and he's like, hey, you want to be a coach on for media marketing? I was like, yeah, absolutely. I already do this. Why would I not want to help other people? Right. And this goes to show you the difference about proximity, right? When you have people that believe in you and then you go and serve somebody else, it just multiplies, right, guys? So the moment that happened, this was last year. We're going to fast forward until today. This was last year. I started talking with Lucas about this. Look at where we're at right now. It's been less than a year. And look at how much things are amplifying. I met Aiden because of Lucas, and then at the PCA, and then the guys understand proximity. And yes, I'm a high energy person to begin with. So imagine what happens when I get more energy, right? But proximity is so important to be with the right people. And look where we're at. Fast forward, I said I didn't want to be on a podcast. I'm on multiple podcasts. Fast forward, I'm saying, hey, I'm not trying to coach anybody else. I'm coaching multiple people. But this isn't just about me. If someone's listening to this right now, today, and they want to make a shift in their life, you have to make a decision right now, right? It's important, it's imperative to do that right now. So please take that away today. Make a decision today, right? If you guys are struggling in your business, change the culture immediately. Stop letting things happen. Take control right now. Make the decision right now and take control. And the reason why I say that is because I started letting other leaders in my organizations to do what they wanted to. And I was just like, I'm getting too busy. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm getting this. So excuse after excuse. The moment I took control back and started injecting back into my business, it started shifting. We started seeing multiplication in our sales, multiplication in attitude in a great way, multiplication in other opportunities. So that's why I'm so excited about this, because guys, we're working on some stuff, right? Like, Lucas, have you guys talked about the event at all or whatever else?
Yeah, we brought it up.
We announced it, brother.
Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. So awesome. Anyways, Aiden, Lucas, real quick, what is your why?
Go ahead, Lucas.
What's
My
your why,
why.
Lucas? What is your why? And it doesn't need to be forward media marketing. What is your why? That's what I want to know today. That was the only question I had all day for you guys. What is your why?
Why do I do what I do?
I got it.
Anything. Why do you even operate as Lucas? Like, what is your why?
Yeah. Dude, my ultimate dream, like ever since I was like kind of started this business like 4 years ago, dude, my ultimate dream has always been like, and I have this like vision around it, is my parents have always been there to support me. Like always, dude. My dad gave me $500 to start this business, right? And that's kind of what propelled me into the position I am now, right? So it's like, dude, my why is that one day I'm gonna retire my parents, and I'm gonna be inviting them like to like a beach house that I bought,
Bro.
right? And they're gonna think it's my beach house, and then we're gonna be sitting down. I already have like this wood deck. There's like these like this balcony that's overlooking the beach. The beach is like a 20-foot white sand beach away from the ocean, and then like everybody's gonna be vibing, have a good time, and then I just like give them the keys to it. You know what I mean? And that vision, dude, that freaking fires me up so much. And then like my dad has always told me about his dream car, which is like a Sunbeam Tiger. It's like an old school car. And then like I would be showing the house, and then open the garage, and then boom, Sunbeam Tiger there, give him the keys. You know what I mean? Like there's just, they gave so much to me, dude, that like I'm going to do whatever the fuck it's got to take to give back.
Love that, man. I visualize that. And guys,
That's beautiful.
understand something. Not only did I visualize it, it attaches to me now and makes me want that even more for you. Right? That's powerful, brother. Aiden,
Yeah.
what's your why, bro?
Dude, people are gonna think I'm lying. This is not cool. Dude, it's to retire my mom. And I tell my wife that all the time. I said, if I get to that point, obviously we're gonna be good. So that just comes with it. But like, I come from basically a single family household, right? And that was very common with all my friends, right? And growing up. And my mom was like the main person that said, even when I was messing up, going through some stuff, dark times, just not being, a good kid, she was like, Aiden's going to be something. That's all I ever heard growing up. Aiden's smart. Aiden's going to be something. He'll figure it out. I trust him. I'm telling you, like, nobody is motivating like my mom. Like, she will make me think I can conquer the world, right? That's all I heard. And that's the confidence that she gave me. And that kind of radiates through who I am. But now, like, I want to just say, Mom, like, I'm going to fulfill that destiny, right? I'm going to bring it back, and I'm going to make sure you're good. Because when you're good, that means I got peace of mind, and I'm good to go.
Wow.
I love that.
Guys,
I love that.
thank you for sharing that, guys. It's you guys are hitting me,
That's
man.
crazy.
You guys are hitting me, man. The reality is this: people think everything's perfect when they see the outside of us, right? But they don't know the reason why we operate, and the people that literally have helped us be so proud of who we are till this day, and why we operate the way we operate to become a better version of ourselves. And it's due to those specific people. And that's why I showed up late to this call, because there's individuals in my life that created this man you guys see today, that I wanted to give them that extra time that I didn't expect, because I thought my time management guy here, right? I thought I blocked it enough, but it's like you can never give enough for the people you love, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Amen.
guys, thank you so much for sharing that. And
What about you, bro?
well, you guys know a little bit of it, but the reality is the same thing. My mom was the only one that was there for me when I was a kid, through all the things that happened to me and things that happened to us, right? And one thing she said too with me as a kid, she's like, "You can do anything you put your mind to."
Mm.
And she was the only individual in my life versus everybody else that was like, Joel, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. Teachers, friends, other things, right? My mom always believed in me too. And she always pushed me and she says, "You're special. There's something about you." And I'm always like, okay. Now I always remember that and I say, I can't fall short of that special. I can't fall short of what I need to do because she believed in me. I will show her and give that back to her, right? So, guys, also what's attached to that is by learning from the past, I want to give back to the world. So that's why I'm a mindset coach. I want to give to you, Lucas, anybody that I can impact. Guys, you have no idea. Well, you do because that's why we're on this call, but the listeners have no idea how blessed we are to even be in this room right now because you're listening to leaders right now that care so much about you. That's my why, being connected in a room like this with these guys and other people that are going to be introduced to me. We're going to make an impact in this world. And I know that starting with the three of us and everybody else that's in our circle, I know it's guaranteed it's going to happen. So I feel blessed. I love you guys. Thank you so much for everything.
Yeah.
I really do appreciate that.
We love
Yeah.
you, bro. Dude, I'm gonna make the
Love y'all.
thumbnail of this YouTube or whatever, just our moms in the background. A couple mamas boys,
Put the
Love
family
that.
portraits up.
But
Yeah.
dude, it's so interesting how we all have such different beginnings and journeys, but like our whys are so similar.
That is
Of
crazy.
just like giving back, like it's, oh man, it's crazy.
But think
It's
about that.
crazy.
That's the morals, right? Like, if you notice, why do you connect with people? Is because, yeah, you may have separate interests, but your morals bring you together. It's like the principle driven centered things that I talk about. But, like I always said, I was like, Lucas is my brother. I barely knew Lucas when I first met him. My wife said, I prayed for a guy like Lucas to be in your life. She said that.
That's awesome, man.
And I truly believe that. I was like, that's confirmation for me because Lucas's morals align with mine.
Yeah.
Aiden's morals align with mine. That's powerful.
Yeah. And I would say for anybody listening, find your why,
Mm-hmm.
really take some time, meditate on it and really think like, why am I doing what I'm doing? What's driving me? Because once you find your purpose, that's going to take you to new heights that you never thought was possible because there's a reason of why you're doing something. You're not just chasing money. You're not just chasing, people to think you're some type of person in your field. You need to have drive based on purpose. And I'm sure Joel is probably more, educated to talk about stuff like that. But I just feel like you operate different when you have purpose,
Yeah,
100%.
I agree. Purpose and direction. Once you understand your why, like burnout doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Because you're just driven. You're just pumping towards that. You're going to do whatever the hell it takes to get there.
100%.
Dude, I think that's a good way to end it. Lucas, where can people find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at the Lucas Jensen, or if you're a painter looking at getting more leads and sales, that's going to be fwdmediamarketing.com. That's forwardmediamarketing.com.
And guys, I personally work with people that he runs ads for, Google, Facebook, and he absolutely crushes for them. All right, that's why he's one of the top preferred people in the industry by the PCA. So many coaches and other people vouch for him. So he's the real deal. If you're interested in leveling up and getting more sales, go reach out to him. And we are on Spotify and YouTube, the Paint Your Path podcast. So make sure you subscribe, like, follow us, comment, interact with us. We want to hear your, feedback, responses, and keep us engaged, man. Keep us on our toes, and we look forward to more pods, more guests, and definitely another one with this crew.
Love y'all. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, love you guys. I'll see you.
Love you guys. Peace.